Today, I'm going to show you how to do basic arithmetic operations on decimals. Let's start with addition. Say we wanted to add 2.56 plus 4.3. How do we do this? Well, the first step is to write them aligned vertically so that the decimals line up. Then we add each digit vertically, like normal, from right to left. If there's an empty spot, like here, and it's after the decimal place and after any numbers that come after that decimal place, you can add a 0 to the end of the number. In essence, 4.3 is the same as 4.30, which is also the same as 4.300 or 4.3 with any number of zeros after it. Let's add each digit. 6 plus 0 is 6, 5 plus 3 is 8, and then 2 plus 4 is 6. So the answer is 6.86. Let's try another example. Feel free to pause the video and try this on your own before I show the answer in 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the same thing of lining up the decimal places and then adding the digits. 2.16 is the same as 2.160, so we can add a 0 to the end of 2.16. 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 6 is 10, so we write a 0 and bring over the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus the extra 1 is 10, so we write 0 and bring over the 1. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So the answer is 8.005. Now let's talk about subtraction. Subtraction is pretty similar, where the first step is still to line up the decimal places, and the next step is basically just to subtract each digit going from right to left. 0.23 is the same as 0.230, so we can add a 0 at the end there, and then we can start subtracting. 6 minus 0 is 6. 0 minus 3 is not possible, so we need to bring over a 1 to make 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 0 minus 2 is not possible, so we need to bring over a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 3 minus 0 is 3. So the answer is 3.876. Let's try another example. What is 99 minus 0.98? The first step is going to be, like before, lining up the decimal places. For any whole number, the decimal place will just come after that number. 99 is the same as 99.0 or 99.00 or 99 with any number of zeros after the decimal place. So now we can subtract the digits. 0 minus 8 is not possible, so we need to bring over a 1. But since the next largest digit is also a 0, then we need to bring over a number from this 9 in the ones place. So this 9 will become an 8, and this 0 will become a 10. But then we took 1 from that 10 to make this 10, so now it's 9. Now we can actually start subtracting. 10 minus 8 is 2, 9 minus 9 is 0. We bring down the decimal place. 8 minus 0 is 8, and 9 minus 0 is 9. So the answer is 98.02. Let's talk about multiplying numbers. How do you multiply 1.25 times 0.5? Let's write them in our little multiplication table without needing to line up the decimals. Then we multiply like normal. ignoring the decimal places for now. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Then we count how many decimal places each number has. 1.25 has 2 digits after the decimal place, and 0.5 has 1 digit after the decimal place. So we need to count 3 digits. 1, 2, 3. So the decimal place is going to go in front of the 6. So the answer is 0.625, which is also the same as 0.625. How do we multiply 2.5 times 3? For multiplication, we do not need to line up the decimal places. We can just multiply them like normal, and then we add the decimal place in afterward. 5 times 3 is 15, and then 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 1 is 7. Now, what do we do with this decimal place? You have to see how many digits are after the decimal place. In this case, it's only 1, so we count 1 digit and place the decimal point there. Lastly, we're going to talk about dividing decimal numbers. How do we divide 5 by 0.25? Let's make a little division table. Before we start dividing, we need to remove the decimal from the divisor. The way we're going to do that is count how many digits the decimal has to move to get all the way to the right of the number. So this decimal has to move 2 digits to the right, and this divisor is going to become 25. Now, to keep the ratios the same, we need to do the same thing to the dividend. So the decimal place has to move 2 places to the right as well. Let me erase some of this to clean it up. So 0.25 becomes 25, and 5 becomes 500. Now we can start dividing. 25 goes into 52 times, and 25 goes into 0 times. And the decimal place will be determined by wherever the decimal is in the dividend. So we bring this guy up, and the answer is 20. Let's try another example. How do you divide 2.68 by 1.6? To start, let's draw our table again. Again, the first step is to make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal place. In this case, we move the decimal place 1 spot to the right to make 16. We have to do the same thing to the divisor. So let's move this decimal place 1 to the right as well. So now we get 26.8 divided by 16. Now that we know the final position of the decimal, we can bring it up for the quotient. Now let's divide. 16 goes into 26 one time. 16 goes into 108 6 times. We can keep adding zeros after the decimal place and its existing numbers. So we're going to add a 0 after the 8 and bring it down. 16 goes into 127 times. Add another 0 and bring it down. And lastly, 16 goes into 85 times. And we are done. So the answer we got is 1.675.